This college basketball crown picks edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up on Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits. We're also brought to you by Edge Boost. Get up to $750 in cashback rewards each month when you sign up at edgeboost.bet and use the promo code SGPN.
Hi, this is Merrill Hodge, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Cram? Dog.
Just dawned on me, Sean. More first half unders loading.
Oh, all right. That's fun because we have a new college basketball tournament to break down. The college basketball crown, playing for some serious cash here. Super fun. I know Circa's one of the sponsors. Shout out to Circa. Joining us on the line from the college experience, Colby Dant, aka Pick Dundee. What's happening, Colby?
Oh, what's up, guys? Saw kids playing tackle football today, and it made my fucking day.
I did see that. You also saw some like political lady retweeted it, and it's getting a lot of heat. Colby's gonna get us in the culture wars, crosshairs. Ryan, I'm with it though. We got to get you breaking down some tackle football film. Although if you show up at a park filming some kids,
were they minors, Colby?
It was a strange thing. Like I think they looked. I mean, luckily I had the dog and my son with me. Because if it was just me, it would have been very strange. Yeah.
Why is that old guy taking photos of us?
I had that moment in the middle of it where I was like, they're kind of looking at me like, what the fuck? But I was like, hey, this is fantastic. I was like, yeah, keep playing.
And I know your car was in the shop, so you were borrowing your wife's white van.
With no windows, right?
Yeah, with no windows.
She hates the windows.
We took those out.
Windows.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a wind resistance thing.
You know what could help you if you show up to the park and you bring the pizza peel? Then no one's gonna think anything of you.
Oh, hey,
just getting the pizza out.
It's Mr. Dad with a nice hot pizza. You got to be on YouTube to see the Ryan's pizza peel.
Yeah, please.
It's the most excited I've seen Ryan ever with a gift. Not joke gift or not. I cannot think of a gift Ryan was more excited for.
You sound like my wife.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
I'm sorry if I get everything I need.
No, I've never seen your eyes lit up when you pulled that pizza peel out of the box.
High levels of creativity.
Oh, well,
great prop for the office.
It is.
And maybe one day I'll actually use it.
That will be the dream.
Bring it home and do some pizza. Kids were making. Actually, I was going to make some pancakes tomorrow morning. Maybe I make an enormous.
That's a great video for social media, Ryan.
Well, people have seen my insane flipping ability with the omelet in the frying pan before, slow motion.
Anyway. But Kramer or Colby, yeah. What were you saying?
No, I was just gonna say my favorite comment on the post I made with kids playing tackle football was my guy DB Cooper saying it's probably a better product than the UFL put on this weekend. You're foreshadowing an upcoming shit product on the UFL Gambling Podcast was unfortunately very true. But we cashed.
We did very well. I think Kramer and I 5-2-1 sides and totals. Colby went rogue, taking one.
He got
and
one,
it barely
right?
got over. So I think Colby was 6-1-1, and we were 5-2-1. So yeah, very good. And the under that didn't hit. It wasn't by like a big margin too. It was.
I will say,
and the one push was. I mean, now maybe we were fortunate that they missed the extra point, AKA whatever that play is. They don't actually kick an extra point, but also they got there with a pick six to the house with like as time was expired.
Yeah, I would say the push and the over were, due to the fun like promotion of scoring rules in the UFL at the very end.
There's gold in them there shit football leagues.
There really is.
That being said, man, I don't want to, and maybe we'll get into it more, but I don't want to throw a man in the box under the bus. But as soon as the first 2 legs of his parlay came in, I was very worried for Birmingham.
Well, and also there was some, CJ was also on Arkansas Final Four. We had talked about, we gave that out. No, I was on Arkansas money line, and he was sending me the eye emojis. There was some. Well, I wouldn't say he was counting the chickens before they hatched, but there was certainly some excitement that
he was thinking about the omelet.
If I was to blame someone for mushing, I'm not one of those guys.
Never seen a guy so worked up on a questionable, like on a pretty obvious jump ball to me. This guy
that was the point. That was the point where, CJ blamed it all on that one jump ball, which I kind of agreed. The whistle was quick, but Arkansas just melted that game down. You could have, like, any one of those plays, they don't fuck up. And I, being a true arbiter of whether a beat is bad or not, even though Arkansas was winning that game the entire time, they were down 2-0, and then they lost the game by 2 points. Even though that was the case, Arkansas money line, I do not consider a bad beat. Michigan State -3.5 because of the way the ball hit the back of the backboard and the rim at the same time and did that weird drop in. That to me is a bad beat. And I went to war with the internet.
I heard about this, by the way,
including some unhinged individuals.
I
don't know whether to
include about it.
I don't know whether to include Noah in that group or not, but they're
it's a weird thing to be passionate about.
Well, their argument is, they were covering for most of the game. Yeah, it was a 2-point game at halftime. I don't know if you've watched college basketball. There's runs back and forth. What was the percentage that he was getting? Also, too, honestly, if it was like an uncontested layup that went in, I wouldn't have been mad about it. If the kid runs up to the 3-point line and just swishes a beautiful shot, then I would be less annoyed by it. But it was like when he threw it up, I thought, no way that fucking thing's going in. You can hear it was dead silent at Circus Sportsbook, and you hear the dunt and then the king, and then half these tools clapping because they were on the right side the entire time. To me, I don't judge the beat by the right side or wrong side. To me, a bad beat is something crazy. Again, that shot had no impact on the game. Something that doesn't impact the game or a fluky play upsets what the outcome of the side and or total was.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I mean, that shot, he could shoot 500 of those or 1,000 of those. I don't think he could mimic.
And the way it went in.
Yeah, I'm saying he can make that shot, but I'm saying off iron, it was like one of those dull shots where like the air of the ball goes out, and then just like falls. You from my experiences, you make that shot on a game where you have a flat basketball on like a basketball rim that's not normal.
That brings up a grander topic, which is, and I noticed it a lot more in the Sweet 16 round, but the softness of these rims. And I've shot a number of shots. How many basketball shots do you think you've taken in your lifetime? I never played organized basketball, but I basically played pickup my entire life.
Yeah.
In an average like game to like 11 at the Y or the G, like maybe I'm taking
so many days playing knockout.
I'm taking 7 to 10 shots in those games. Yeah. Knockout. I've never in my life gotten a like high off the rim 4-time banger that just rolls in, and it happens all the time with these rims. These rims all the time.
I don't mean to sound like a conspiracy theory, and not even impacting my bets per se. I'm sure they had some for and against it, but the rims were weird. There was like early on. Now I wouldn't be surprised if this is true, but early on, and man, the box mentioned this. They were talking that maybe these balls were overinflated, and that maybe they
just took air out of them. Well,
maybe they took it back too far the other way, and then it looks like a super soft
Even
rim.
The shots by Clayton on Florida yesterday when they were coming back, both kind of just like grazed the rim and casually spin in. Just the softness of how the ball was. And again, I don't really care. I did hit a massive Florida Duke parlay that was honestly sweat of the.
That's bullshit. That was
Colby,
bullshit.
what a sweat!
Yeah,
you want to talk
Florida
about
had no business winning that fucking game.
Not at all.
Yeah,
That's why the sweat was so good. I had actually already said, well, fuck everything. Lost all this money. Going to need to get hot in the UFL to get it back. So once you already commit to losing, there's nothing better than what just because it was like the ultimate parlay.
You win twice.
It was like, okay, we need a 3. Okay, foul, missed the front end of the 101. Yes, missed the 3. Okay, missed the front end of the 101. Bang, missed 3. It was just, and then the best one was Clayton getting into the paint. They guard it. They stop it. He dribbles out and no one follows him. And he just turns around and hits the 3.
Michigan State needed those fucking rims to start the game off. I said to Colby before we started the show, Auburn was the better team. They were the right side, all that. But like, man, Michigan State had some I know they're not the best 3-point shooting team, but just in general, they had some wide open shots that just would not fucking fall down. And of course they start hitting threes at the very end of the game. They missed 2 free throws that maybe would have backdoored it. That game was very annoying because Auburn was in control of it the entire time, but they just kept dancing around and almost getting that backdoor. Very frustrating. And shout out to you, Jay Billis. I hope you're happy. All 4 1 seeds. Now, I guess there's 2 ways to look at it. One is it hasn't been an exciting tournament. Now maybe we get lucky and we have some awesome games because the 4 remaining teams are very good teams, or you're annoyed that we didn't get any fun upsets. And that is, yeah, I love the super sharp take of, oh, well, you don't like college basketball. You don't like good teams. Yeah, but part of the fun of college basketball is David taking down Goliath. That's why the upsets are kind of fun.
Also, there's years, like I said, 2017, I think I said it on the last show we did, was a super chalky year, but the games were fire, right?
Yeah.
2008, we had all 1 seeds, right? But the games were fire. This has been a dud. Like to me, it doesn't matter if you're getting 1 seeds or whatever. Like if it goes chalk, it goes chalk. But at least give us great games. There's been a lot of blowouts this year.
The 1 seeds will bury the lead. Like so, first of all, per Ken Palm, these are clearly the best. Like there's a tier of 4 teams that are the best 4. Like, there's actually a tier with Duke all by themselves, then a tier with Houston, Florida, and Auburn, and then a significant gap down to Tennessee and Alabama. So we're getting the right teams. Like Colby said, it's not the 1 seeds. It's not the 1 seeds at all. It's the fact that we only had 11 lower seeds win a game in this tournament. That's a record.
That's crazy.
That's a record all time.
Florida does not. Like I know they're from Ken Palm, but Florida should have lost to UConn. They should have lost to Texas Tech. And then they get this break of Janai Broom's injury today. We'll see how that plays out tomorrow. And that thing swells up.
He came back and he looked okay. But to your point, we'll see if that thing swells up. Then I'm guessing he's going to play. The thing is, what percent will
yeah. I think that would.
Yeah, I mean, my hot take would be that this is maybe going to be reminiscent of a lot of years where you kind of have a lot like Duke Houston is for the national championship in my eyes. Yeah.
I think Florida, like I was talking to some people this week. I think Florida's the actual best roster in college basketball, but Todd Golden is a shitty in-game coach. Like they had no business. I sat there, I was walking my dog right after that UConn game, and I was like, how the fuck did UConn not win? Like Florida won the game, and it didn't even seem like they made the plays to win the game. Right. And it's like the same. I mean, Walter Clayton Jr. goes into his fuck you mode, but besides that, you're like, it still just seems weird. Like UConn played a lot better, and I thought Texas Tech played even better than that. I still think they're living by the edge so much there. You're going to get pushed over at some point. But with Broom's injury, if that thing is if that just slows that's a huge fucking break for Florida.
I could be wrong here, and I know all of the teams are relative, like putting Duke to the side because they're inexperienced, but they're all NBA guys. I'm going to verify this. Yeah. Florida is the most inexperienced of the Houston between Houston, Auburn, and Florida. So maybe that's what we're seeing.
All right. I just don't trust Golden in game adjustments. To me, like he just gets bailed out by that team just being insanely
Colby,
hot. Yeah.
Months ago, I said, give me Duke, Houston, and Auburn versus the field. And you guys mocked me.
Yeah.
Auburn, to their credit, they did deserve a 1 seed, but goddamn, they drew the best one. That shit's a home game. They would have lost to Michigan if that game's in Newark. I really feel good about that assessment. Michigan was beating them by 9 or 10 with the 10-minute mark. If that crowd does not give them that shot of adrenaline, they would have lost to Michigan, in my opinion. You play that game in Indianapolis, you play that game in LA, play that game in Vegas. I thought Michigan would have won that game.
Yeah, no, obviously, yeah, the crowd did help them, but it'll be, we're going to do a whole Final Four episode.
Is it crazy? Is it crazy to think that the 1 seed should get the home edge for the Sweet 16 area and not the first 2 rounds? Like get the
I'm
1 seed.
I'm not super pissed at it. I'm just saying, like, the other crowd, like Houston got dealt a shitty hand. They had to play basically at Purdue almost. And then, I obviously, like, that's the kind of stuff where it's like, we have AI now. Let's get, like, we should be able to do a better job. If you're a 1 seed, you like in even a 2 seed, like, we should try to avoid you potentially playing a lower seed in what would turn into a virtual home game for that lower seed. That's not a very hard ask, right? We don't have a ton of locations we're dealing with here. And if
I think you could probably figure that out.
Telvin Sampson's post-game comments today, he kind of address that.
I mean,
yeah.
You clearly, they wanted to give, I mean, not to be the conspiracy theorist with the committee, but clearly when you put Gonzaga in the second round for Houston, I mean, the whole way through, basically Houston was playing, like, even, the Tennessee game, very impressive from Houston, but that was a very good Tennessee team. So yeah, clearly the committee trying to throw some shade at Houston. Maybe they're not aware that they're a major conference team now.
Yeah. They're part. They're
catching up.
Yeah.
All right,
By the way, Colby, who won? Last thing about the bad stuff in the past, Colby, are you not going to congratulate the Division II national champion?
Oh, I watched it. I had action on Dominguez Hills, man.
Oh, really? Who won?
They lost by 1 to the school in Florida. What's it called again? The
chiropractor school.
What the fuck's the name of the school? I know it. I watched the fucking game. I'm drawing a blank right now on it. I did because Dominguez
Southeastern.
Yeah, Dominguez, and that's back to back for them. And Dominguez had they should have fucking had that game, man. The guy took a charge. He was in the no charge zone, which we should still get rid of that fucking rule. But that game was better than fucking every game in the NCAA tournament, probably almost.
Listen to this run they're on right now. Shout out to Coach Jim Crutchfield in his 5th year. They national champs 2023, runners up 2024. So I'll look past that error by Colby right there. Oh. And national champs again in 2025. Do we have the next Drake dynasty here? Whole team's going to come up, and they're the Sharks, Colby.
Yeah. Why? If you honestly, like, if you're one of these schools right now that are still trying to get a coach, I know a lot of these positions have been filled, but why would you not take them and take that? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. I would actually wait. They're in such a rush to get into the portal. If I'm a mid-major, I actually wait till the D2 and D3 national championships are over, and I'm like, let's see if I can bring in your entire fucking roster, because my coach just left, and he's probably taken half of my roster. So it makes a lot of sense to do that moving forward. But how about Kevin Willard? How about that weasel Kevin Willard? For a month, he's been talking to Villanova. For a month?
Yeah, pretty crazy.
It's a blessing in disguise, Maryland fans. You're gonna be And
as a Nova guy, I'm not excited about the Kevin Willard era. Already off to a weird start.
Last note on the other Nova we were just talking about. When they started their program, Colby, you'll love this. When they started their athletic program, Charles Sonny Hasley was not only the AD, but he coached the baseball and basketball team. And his name's Sonny. I'll have to look into it. Could be a nominee.
What year did they start the program?
1982.
Yeah, that's what's great. That's why if they give me a lot of money, that's what I'm in. It's like that's the best part about the college sports is it's like every college is the Green Bay Packers. It's like everyone, you just put the money in. This is what we're gonna do, and hopefully you have football, basketball, and baseball, and hockey and shit. So Frozen 4 was fire. Frozen 4 better than the NCAA tournament this year in basketball.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Any shootouts to close things out?
Well, I mean, we have a week off, and then we get the Final Four. The Frozen Four is the Final Four, but we got the hockey tournament going on right now, and it's been fucking bonkers this year. You had your top team lose. It's been a lot of fun. We did an episode. Check out the college experience. Search Frozen 4. We did an episode. We're going to cover it again this upcoming week. So yeah, check it out.
And last thing, shout out to all the people who have reached out about the CFL podcast. It seems like there's at least a couple of you. We're running the numbers. I don't know if there's enough.
It's right on the edge.
Again, it's not us. It's the tariffs. We didn't make the tariffs.
Yeah, tariffs pending. It's looking good. We still need a couple more people to agree to listen and support the CFL podcast.
We need to get someone on the line.
There's an exchange rate, right? No, we said 3 people, but then when we factored in the exchange rate with Canada, we actually are going to need 5 people to confirm that they're willing to listen to a full season of CFL action.
Mostly people don't give a shit about the podcast. They just want the big tits parlay.
Yeah. That seems to be the.
What I was going to say was someone sent me a shot of a plane over Emerald Lake in Canada with the banner behind it. Save the huge tits parlay. Which I mean,
Kid Rock did tweet out a photo today saying, "You remember when Budweiser was cool and Canadians loved America?" And it's him making out with Pam Anderson drinking a Budweiser. I liked it. All right, we have some games to talk about. We'll do a Final Four episode later in the week, but for now, we're talking the new lass in town, the Crown Basketball Tournament, aka the CBC. Of course, if you're looking to get down on the Crown, head over to Edge Boost and get that debit card loaded up. Of course, I'm sure everyone already has the Edge Boost debit card, but if not, what are you waiting for? First off, it's a debit card. It's free. FDIC insured. You load this thing up and you can use it on all your sportsbook, DFS, sweepstakes, casino sites. It's really nice to have one central area for all your gambling funds. And even if you don't need that convenience, you're crazy. You're leaving money on the table by not signing up and getting these cash back rewards. That's right. Get the 2-tier status when you use our promo code SGPN. Head over to edgeboost.bet and use the promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by mybookie.ag. Of course, MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, props. Wherever you are, MyBookie, you can get down over on mybookie.ag. Use that sweet cryptocurrency, easy deposit, even easier withdrawals. Use the promo code SGPN, 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN. And I'm over on MyBookie right now. They have the CBC lines up, including some futures. Head over there now. Get in on the action. MyBookie.ag. Promo code SGPN.
Did you want a quick update on the bracket contest?
Yeah, I saw Robert in the chat saying he's sitting in second place. Was bragging about how easy it was to pick the Final Four. So hats off to you, Robert.
I will say this: a lot of people in here are being exposed for Billis beards. Everyone who's doing well in brackets right now. It's not something to brag about. I'm sure Betty in accounting's crushing it as well. Brock Auden, 115 points, Sean, and he's got Florida as his champ. 1 point back at the Mr. Robert Martin, who is in the chat live, sitting there in second, 114. Also has Florida to win it all. In third, Drew Bessie, 112, does have Duke. He's the highest point total of the Duke champions. And in fourth, Chase Dipple, the highest ranking Cougar champion. So without looking at the and then we have, I'll give you, let's see, Craig Andrania, 110, 5th place, Florida. And then the highest ranking Auburn backer, Adam Pyle, 109. Name sounds familiar, almost like he's won something before. Look at all these Billis. Hashtag Billis beard.
I was looking forward to winning the tournament because if Michigan State won it all, I think I would have had a decent shot there. But my bracket is officially broken. So, but Ryan, the good news is, look at this.
What's this?
We got a brand new bracket. Look at this thing. CBC. Let's get it.
Yep. I was just pulling up the numbers and shout out to everyone who is offering odds in the Crown. The Crown is actually a genius idea. Colby, I feel like we've been discussing this concept for a while, but now that you can legally pay and money can be put out in the open, very obvious that we were going to start seeing whether it's preseason or postseason pay for play tournaments. And that's essentially what the Crown is. They were
next year. I mean, we had one in Vegas in November. I forget what the name was. Oregon beat Alabama in that thing. Oregon won that tournament. NIL tournament, I think it might have been called. But they only had 8 teams this year. It's going to be 32 next year because of the NIL money that hit.
Really?
So, yeah,
that's crazy. And it looks like they're giving out $500K for NIL. And some of these Tulane, their estimated NIL for 2025 $2 million. So $500K is a huge swing for these kids.
That number seems low for Tulane.
Yeah, I'm looking this off
just
of
knowing that the
social
money that
media,
they have.
But yeah, maybe they don't put a ton into basketball.
They're also a private school, so I don't know that it's hard to get the numbers. Yeah, it's hard to get the numbers on a private school, but I would say they put football first. So maybe all their money goes to that. But either way, it's a great thing. I think, you take a team like, I was just talking about this. If you put USC, which is in this field, we're going to talk about USC in a little bit. They're in this field. If they were playing in the NIT, I would fade them at the first chance you get, because teams like that, they just don't show up. There's no incentive to show up. Now that you add some money, I feel like this is why this tournament can work. And this is why all these tournaments can work. If they do more of this, why not? We want to see the sport. You only play 30 games in the regular season. If you don't make the NCAA tournament, you can play more. Why not?
Now, Ryan, I was seeing, or just like walking through a big picture, I could kind of see both angles to whether we want to play some first half unders, some game unders, or the other way, because I think
I was thinking overs.
Yeah. I think a tournament like this might be kind of leaning into overs, just because they're going to be playing back-to-back games. They probably aren't in amazing basketball shape. Like I don't think a lot of these, they didn't stay practicing a lot of these programs after their season ended. I doubt they were watching a bunch of film. So I could see this leading to some of the high scoring games. Now the counter is
they knew they were in this immediately.
Okay.
My counter to what do you have like reporting suggesting these teams stopped practicing?
Well, I'm going off of
their team.
I'm going off some press conference stuff.
I think there's some teams that had some coaching gaps, but
some portal losses, some major portal losses.
Sure. Yeah, and Colby will have that for us, but I'm more suggesting that the teams that there's a population of teams, at least, that because they knew they were doing this right away, I do think they probably kept practicing a little bit, at least use this as an excuse to continue to practice. I mean, you think about the old bowl system in football, you got extra practices if you made the bowl game. Also, my take also is that there was a ton of pressure placed on the conferences through the TV networks that these tournaments will be taken seriously.
Oh, I think they will be. I just think this setup leads itself more towards overs.
I think maybe in the after the first round, to your point on the back-to-backs. And yeah, the one thing you didn't mention about this tournament is that you are auto bidded into the basically, if you don't make the NCAA tournament, the top 2 teams from the Big East, Big 10, Big 12 are all committed. Outside of that, they have some formulas, and there's 10 at large. Oh, okay. So the other 10 are at large bids. But I mean, the fact that you like the Big East, Big 10, and Big 12, we know those 6 teams at minimum. Now, Colby's going to tell us about some of them losing some players, but there's at least some additional pressures being placed on them by their new masters, aka the TV networks.
Yeah, and I think it'll be competitive basketball. I don't have a solid angle on the overs or the unders. It just seemed to me, from what I was reading about different writers evaluating the press conferences, it seemed like.
And so you're both basically making the global assumption that removal of talent and/or like not having practiced in a while will help the offense and not the defense.
I didn't even think about the practicing thing. My assessment was a lot of these teams have a lot of reserves, or not only a lot of reserves, but a lot of star power. There's like 4 or 5 teams with star power out. I think that it probably adds to the fact that you probably don't have a lot of tape on these people. So like it's gonna. That's why I thought the over would be the play here. Is that
so like a team like Oregon State? They're bringing back 3 starters. The 3 starters are their top 3 scorers. That something like that would lead me to believe to maybe an over.
So, yeah, I mean,
no, it could go either way. Just from what I've looked at so far, I would think it more overs than unders, especially with the back-to-backs.
I think that in college, offense is just as much of a team game as defense. So I think any sort of variance in your lineup is going to affect your offense just as much as your defense.
Some turnovers. Yeah. No, I see.
And sloppy play in college, can be more punitive because the scores obviously aren't like the NBA. All right, let's look at the futures. I noticed that since we discussed these teams on Friday on VSiN show, that now Boise State is the chalk. They were not the chalk at the time at plus 190. The Bearcats plus 450. Nebraska plus 550. Villanova plus 7. One of those teams facing a tiny bit of coaching variance. 7-1. USC 750. The Golden Knights of UCF 10-1. Arizona State 18-1. Colorado 20-1. These odds have dropped drastically. I think they were 60 or 65-1 last we talked. Butler 20-1. Georgetown 22-1. Utah 25-1. DePaul 30-1. Oregon State 45-1. The Cougars. I'm repping a Cougars shirt right now. Shout out to the Cougs. 70-1. George Washington. The as Colby calls them, Colonials. Very offensive.
Wait, DePaul's down to 30-1.
75-1 in Tulane, 80-1. Colby is the. I mean, come on, Sean. We all know Colby is the slide master.
Yes.
I see the getting a lot of the slide master getting a lot of love in the chat. Shout out to the real ones that appreciate the slide master. He's available for hire for weddings or anything.
Kids' birthday parties.
I know we kind of broke down the futures market on the VSiN show, and some of these prices have moved drastically. And we do have a bracket in front of us.
Yes.
Any big picture thoughts, Colby, you want to throw out there?
I mean, first, I just.
Do you have a bracket in these slides I can show people? Oh, here we go.
I do. Of course I do. I mean,
now hold on. I haven't that. I need to figure out.
Oh, this one's pretty cool.
Yeah, let me add that.
You don't like that one, huh? Okay. It's okay. I purposely sought out the black and white one because I thought the other one might be a little too much for you. But be who you are.
What he's doing? He's blaming you.
I mean, the thing about this is, I think, there's 2 ways to look at it. I think some of these long shots are live because the teams they're playing aren't that great, right? So it's as simple as that. They're also obviously not great, but for a team like Washington State to win 4 games, I don't think is really that crazy especially if you walk through their path, and the fact that they're 70-1. So I'm definitely going to take a sprinkle on.
You're based in my mind. It's like the issue. Washington State would have to theoretically go through Nebraska and Boise State, who you could argue are 2 of the better teams in the tournament, if not 2 of the 2 best teams.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that's crazy is the teams like you would expect, like USC and Arizona State, you would expect them to have a lot of guys out. They don't really. Like Arizona State's almost got everybody intact. Nebraska as well. And that's why I wanted transparency to people. Like, let's first, Mike Nardi, the former Villanova shooting guard, is coaching Villanova because they fired Kyle Neptune. They just hired Kevin Willard, but he will not be a part of this as far as I know. And the same situation with Utah. They fired Craig Smith mid-season. Josh Eilert taking over, but he will not be, this is his last run as the coach of Utah. So those 2, you have open positions. Ron Hunter, turns out he did not take the North Texas job, so he's back at Tulane. So, but we should talk about, like, UCF does have 8 guys out. 8 guys have hit the portal for UCF that will. So I'm like, who the hell are you playing? Like GW's
to me, that's the weakest quadrant in this bracket. Like Cincinnati, to me, that's an easy.
Well, I think that's why Cincinnati was the favorite, is because of their path.
Yeah.
Colby mentioned USC, and what was the USC price, like 7-1? I think that's interesting as well. USC, yeah, plus 750. USC's a team I like a lot here. I think
Novi. Everything I've read about the coaching situation,
yeah,
it like might have galvanized the team. It does sound like. Are they missing anyone, Colby?
Villanova, they're missing one reserve. Like
it sounds like this.
Yeah,
sounds like this Villanova team. Yeah, but it also just could be one of those teams that, they are going to be very good in this field.
And what's my guy's name? The top leading scorer there. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now for Nova.
Dixon.
Yeah, Eric Dixon. He's going for the all-time scoring champ in Villanova basketball history.
Oh, so hell yeah!
There is an angle to jump on either this or Underdog Fantasy with Eric Dixon trying to go for that. But I do think there's an edge there on that. But also, I just want the people to know. So Utah's got 7 guys out as well, right? So UCF, Utah. Another one I think that you probably want to avoid are Oregon State and Washington State, because they have some of their top guys out, as far as I could tell. So like the top scorers.
Yeah, I love Villanova in that first game. So yeah, you know what? Screw USC. Give me Villanova at 7-1, and give me Washington State as my long shot.
My theory.
Yeah,
I think you grab a future from each quadrant.
Oh, okay.
If the price is right. So the question then becomes, because you haven't even mentioned Butler, Colby. Any players out for Butler to get us concerned? Because we like
two reserves, but I like them bringing back Thad Matta. I think that kept the team intact, and it kept their starting 5 intact. They also, with that news, said they're increasing NIL. So you're basically paying or playing to see if you can be one of these guys on the team next year, making more money.
So I think I would take a piece of Butler at 20-1 for sure. They just have to, like, the Boise State game will be the game to be worrisome about, but
yeah, I mean, if you go back to the bracket, can you load up whatever bracket you want to use? Yeah.
Oh, this one looks nice.
Okay. There's a clear weak bracket to me.
Cincy's bracket.
Yes.
Or are you talking about Nebraska's bracket?
No, I actually think Cincy's is the one, like, pending the news, which I didn't have all of that stuff on Friday when we were doing the show. I was searching for data. I saw some out, some unknown, but now we know that UCF and Oregon State are like depleted rosters. DePaul's another one with a depleted roster. I think 3 of their top 4 scoring starters are gone. They hit the portal. So Cincy's just sitting there like, hey, okay. But I also think, they kind of been a very overrated team all year. But as far as the bracket, like, you gotta love that bracket if you're a Cincy fan. Another one I think is the Washington State side.
Yeah, who do you like down there?
Well, I just think it's an interesting spot because Nebraska is favored to come out of this thing down there.
I'll take Washington State.
Yeah, come on.
Well, I think Arizona State's going to give them a game, like Nebraska. So everyone's saying, well, Nebraska would fuck up Washington State. And when I say everyone, I mean like 6 people on the internet. But
where are you getting these prices from, Colby?
The prices are literally all over the place.
Washington State 80-1.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Seeing that live right now. Blue Book.
I mean, 80-1. I got mine from wherever we get our. I mean,
Sean,
can I plug it or not?
We might.
MyBookie.ag, sure. Promo code SGPN.
Yeah.
Orange, green, blue.
No, but definitely shop around because the ones we're showing on screen, that's just one place. And like, there's pretty big, especially in some of these longer shots, there's a pretty big price difference on the futures. So definitely, get the card out and poke around, especially if you're playing the long shot.
This same place has Butler 14-1 instead of 20-1. So
yeah.
All right. So we're grabbing a piece of Butler at 20-1, Washington State at 80-1.
Yeah.
Are we Cincinnati? Are we touching? They're +4.
I almost think we have to, just because that, like, they're gonna be in that. They're gonna
to have a winner. Yeah. And then Villanova 7-1. I know Colby likes Musselman and
I do, just because it was
Trojan.
year one, and if you tell me they actually can make money, there's like a motive. Ron Hunter was just interviewing in North Texas, so I'm wondering, like, and they have two guys out as well, Tulane. So I was like, okay, but can they get past Nova? Nova's culture, I think Nova or USC are the ones that make sense in that part of the region. But I'm going to take SC.
I trust Nova to be prepared for it, like to the point of what Sean made earlier, that we're so disconnected from the regular season.
Yeah.
I trust that Nova has the structure in place. Like
they have the
Musselman
strongest
and USC.
program.
No way Musselman and USC.
The more we think about it. Yeah.
All right. So that's great. I'm we'll lock all these in.
And we should highlight, this is what's great about this tournament, because some people might be on the fence in the chat.
Why would they be on the fence?
You get a quadruple header on national TV tomorrow, followed by a quadruple header on national TV. I mean,
just think about it. You're jonesing for more college basketball. I know I am. The Michigan State game left a bad taste in my mouth. Now I get to wash it out with some nice. And these are decent teams. It's not like complete dog shit.
And they wrap it up. So you get Monday and Tuesday quadruple headers, basketball all day. You don't have to talk to the wife, right? Just basketball, right? And then they wrap all of this up before the Final Four. Someone is paid. So I think it's fantastic. I hope they do more of this stuff.
All right, let's. Speaking of those games, let's talk about them. Yeah,
let's get into it. Yeah,
sounds good. All right, let's get. I like this. Got our 4 futures. I started filling out my bracket based on that. Let's talk about the first game, which this is probably the most puzzling of the point spreads we're going to talk about. Like Colby said, we got daytime basketball, perfect timing. Again, rarely are we complimentary of non-major like organized events because the scheduling sucks. This is perfect.
Yeah.
They're playing all the games between now and Sunday, and the Saturday games are lead up games to the actual Final Four.
Oh wait, so you don't compete with other major sporting events? Wow, what a genius move.
They are competing with the UFL.
Okay,
how about the UFL though? We're sitting there. This is so great. We were sitting there trying to say, why would they go up against Houston in the Sweet 16, right? And
insane.
And then we find out that it was also the Houston Astros opening day. First game of the whole season, because they didn't play the game prior. Unbelievable how dumb that fucking league is. How do you mess that up?
Very evident that the only team that we saw play a home game this past weekend that has a home crowd is DC. I apologize for telling the league to move the team. Butler, Utah, again, all games being played in Vegas. The first 2 rounds are being played at the MGM Garden Arena, or wherever it's called. The Final Four and championship are at T-Mobile. Utah, Butler laying 1.5, 155.5 is the total.
This one. I mean,
I am going to experiment with the first half unders for the record.
Okay.
Really? I was thinking the overs.
Does anyone see first half numbers out there yet?
Let's see. I'll poke around, but I
didn't see any out there. So I'll maybe post them on social tomorrow when they drop. Anyway, this one was puzzling to me because Colby highlighted a number of reasons why Utah is
73.5, Ryan.
73.5.
Yeah. MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN. They got them out.
All right. That's beautiful. I was I must have missed them. Colby talked about why Utah might be a bet against team. He also highlighted with Thad Matta being signed why this might be a opportunity for Butler. Maybe they're a bet on team. We took the future at 20-1. Why is this spread only 1.5, Colby?
Well, that's because if all these nerds that love KenPom and stuff, it's got Utah favored by like what 4.5 or something.
Really?
I forget the number, something like that, right? Something, right?
It's been adjusted. Utah Butler is now projected to win by a point.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's right in market.
Colby is right. The initial projections maybe didn't include all the roster.
Oh, maybe that was the late stuff. But I just look at Utah, 63.9% from the line. What do we Butler hits at 74%. Let's just start there.
Yeah. And how about the fact that Butler's a team that I thought was better than their overall record. I know they didn't have the greatest year, but they were in a lot of those games against good teams that won in March. And they get everyone back. McCaffrey's back. Brooks is playing. Telford. Finley Bizjack is a game time decision, but I think he's going to play. Yeah.
Dick's 30, almost as good as
all over.
He said it on the broadcast tonight as I was walking the dogs, listening to the game, and I just hear Dick's 30. I get a good chuckle.
The only thing,
Dick's 30.
The only thing I'll say is, and I want to ask you guys this question because we were having this conversation off air on TCE. Ooh. Will Utah actually have the crowd? Because there's so many Mormons in Vegas. I was like, but I'm like, they don't even know what the fuck the crown is, right? Are they going to show up to this thing?
No. Why would they show up?
Maybe there's a little bit of that, but I mean, if you're telling me which fan base will have more fans there, I would guess Utah, but I don't think it's going to be enough to create an atmosphere.
I'm all over Butler. I mean? Even if they had half the fucking venue, I'm all over Butler.
March Madness first round games are empty for the earliest game. This is not going to have a dynamic home crowd atmosphere either way. No. Yeah. Again, this is probably lock potential. I have this.
Smash it.
I'd lay up to 4.5 for those wondering. George Washington, Boise State. This is a 2:30 tip. The first one was noon. If I didn't say it, on the West Coast, Boise State laying 8.5 here. 141.5 is the total. I'm sure Sean will tell me the first half total. Boise State is the best team in my opinion in the tournament. They deserve to be the chalk now. When they were behind Cincinnati, that didn't quite make sense. Although I have gotten more bullish thanks to Colby on Butler from a futures perspective. This does seem like a runaway spot where I could actually see Boise having fans here. George Washington definitely not going to have fans here, and I'm sure Colby will highlight a number of reasons why George Washington bet against team.
No, I'm actually taking the Colonials.
No, you're not.
Really?
I just under Leon Rice Leon Rice at Boise, and I like Leon Rice, as the chat knows. I was at Mountain West Media Days. I interviewed. I just don't like them. Whenever they're a big favorite, they're not a good team to me when they're a big favorite. Like, I mean, they'll win the games, but I'm saying like they just kind of play with their food when they're a big favorite. So give me these Colonials. George Washington had a sick crossover, Sean. And,
look at him.
And
what are you doing, Colby?
But I just don't like laying a big ass number with Boise. Like to me, like anytime you get over like 5.5 or 6 with Boise, I'm not taking that shit. And it is especially not in Boise. In Vegas, give me the Colonials.
Well, but they do have Boise State. They just played the Mountain West tournament here. Played very good basketball. They immediately knew they were going into the crown.
Yes,
it seemed like they probably had a chip on their shoulder. I don't know. I think they're going to be up for this game. Certainly more than George Washington.
George Washington hasn't been in like a postseason forever. Why wouldn't they be excited for this? The chance to make money.
That's a valid point.
Okay.
I mean, look, I just don't like taking Boise as a heavy favorite. It's I could pull out stats and say stuff, but when they're a heavy favorite, to me, they kind of play with their food. Now, maybe
yeah, I think because of the setup here, I'm taking Boise State laying the 8.5. I mean, they're just too familiar with taking a trip to Vegas and playing really good basketball. Trevor, what do you know?
Just filling out my bracket over here. So
do you have a Boise State advancing?
Not only will they be advancing, they're going to get the cover here.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. I like chalk.
Yeah, you do. You're a big chalk guy.
I am going to apply the low mid major conference tournament strategy here. A lot of chalk in the first round. 5:30. So they take a little bit of maybe a late lunch, early dinner break here. 5:30 p.m. on the West Coast. We now have Nebraska, who some could argue as good as anyone in the field, taking on Arizona State, who I believe is down some folks. Nebraska laying 5.5. 154.5 is the total. Colby.
The thing that is fascinating about this one is Arizona State's only down one guy, as far as I can tell, which is crazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, you would expect Arizona. That's what I'm saying. Arizona State and USC, you would think like none of their roster would be there, But Bobby Hurley, and he's back next year. Remember in his contract, he said, if I make the tournament, I get to come back. They didn't specify what tournament.
Yeah.
He made the fucking crown and he's back, baby. I think Arizona State's they're the hardest team in college basketball to understand who the fuck they are. Look who they beat in the regular season. Like they beat some really good teams. I think I'm going to buy in. You put some money on it. They're used to being in the desert with the fake tits bouncing. I'm going to take these Sun Devils to give Nebraska away from Lincoln too has been questionable all year. Give me the Sun Devils. I think the money line is live, guys.
Really?
Nebraska
I didn't see this
is 3-0 ATS in neutral game spots. Arizona State though is 6-1. I'm going with Colby. I think Arizona State. This to me feels like a somewhat even matchup. I just don't. I think 5.5 points is way too high. And yeah, I like. My point is, who is Nebraska to be laying 5.5 against a competent basketball team, which I have Arizona. Ken Pom has this at 3. That to me is 5.5. I think is way too high.
Yeah, forks up, right?
Forks up.
By the way, first half total for this game 73, for the Boise State George Washington game 66.5. Yeah, we got to be in Arizona postseason Arizona State.
Yeah,
podcast.
Come on. Let's go. Let's
Although
rock.
we were reminded UFL Jeff is a ASU graduate, right? Couple demerits for them having him as alumni, but not all of the demerits.
Okay, David Spade is also a grad, or he attended classes. I don't know if he graduated.
So UFL, yeah, the Ivy League of the West, they call it.
Oh, so we're going back. We don't like, but they're a sports school, they're not an education school.
No, this is not. It's not a bracket of PR directors. It's a bracket of college basketball teams.
Yeah.
Give me Arizona State.
They are a tightly knit community.
Well, a lot of people in Tempe love the huge tits parlay.
Really?
Oh, come on. That's
Are you
huge
just
tit
saying
parlay
that?
country.
He's just making that up. All right. Next up, we got. Let's see. We have the nightcap: Georgetown and Washington State, 8 p.m. on the West Coast. Georgetown laying 3.5. Wow. 159.5 is the total. First half, I'm seeing 76. Big number. These are much bigger numbers than March Madness.
Yeah, so. No, I mean,
perhaps the over theories out there are already slamming the market.
Well, no, and maybe it's already factored into the number. My initial thoughts of the high scoring wasn't like looking at the market and breaking it down. It was just my initial reaction, but it seems like the market, I mean, all these first half unders are all pretty high, right?
I'd say so. Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe we do all take the unders. Right? Should we just load up?
I'm already there. Feel free to join me. I'm loading up right now.
I mean, Washington State can shoot the ball. Colby, I know we talked a little bit about Ed Cooley on the VSiN show, but the concern of who they were going to actually be able to trot out. I've talked myself into a Washington State long shot, so obviously I like them here plus 3.5. But what's the state of Georgetown basketball right now?
Yeah, I mean, arguably their best player, Thomas Sorber's out. He's going to the NBA, and Drew Fielder, guy gets some burn on the bench. They're out with both them now. Wazoo is without a couple scorers as well. Isaiah Watts, a few other guys. I mean, I think they have 3 of their top 5 scorers in the portal. But Washington State,
probably why they're 80-1.
But Washington State is a team that, to me, early in the year they looked great. Down the stretch they looked horrible. I think if there was one team that benefited from this much rest, could have been Washington State. And they played the Pac-12 tournament in Vegas every fucking year. They are no strangers to Las Vegas. Georgetown, watch out. All right, they haven't been in Vegas since goddamn Alonzo Mourning, I feel like. So, I'm on Wazoo. Let's go with our boys here. I'll be honest though, out of the 4 for the day, this is probably the one with the
this is going to be the one.
On. Well, and again, Washington State's 70-1, but you gotta start somewhere, and don't let the Cougs get hot. And when you're picking some of these long shots, to me, it makes sense to take a team that's 8th in the country in 2-point percentage, 10th in the nation in effective field goal percentage. The idea is much like a craps table. hey, if they could get hot, Washington State could go on a nice little run, avoid the 7s, keep the mojo going.
I mean, some of the reason those numbers exist is due to people that aren't going to be playing though.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm with you. I'm taking.
I thought you were on Washington State. Oh, okay.
I'm just
like to.
I didn't like how you were throwing out numbers that obviously were fugazi.
Well, but they're a good shooting team.
But were you not listening to Colby?
I was listening. Okay. To Colby. Yeah, he's
60% of that good shooting.
Yeah, but they're replaced by guys who also are probably good shooters.
Oh,
it's a team thing.
Yeah, there you go. That's true.
It's a team stat.
Shooting percentages.
Oh, so you're on Georgetown here laying the third.
No.
Really?
Okay. I have written in the black book here, by way of our friends in Providence, fade Cooley and around the horse.
Yeah, and there's a lot of. If there's some loose ladies out there. Also, that's a fun thing to do out in Vegas. Just
what, horse?
Oh yeah. Shout out to our buddy Brad in the chat. But yes, no, just trying to identify the ladies who are on the clock.
Oh,
it's pretty easy for the most part. One, if they're by themselves and trying to make eye contact. Two, if they're by themselves, not looking at their phone. Every chick in Vegas that's hanging out by themselves randomly, they're maybe looking at their phone, waiting to meet up a girlfriend or their husband, boyfriend, whatever. If they're just, and I've seen them on many a bar, they just sit down, they got the eyes up, they're trying to make eye contact with you.
Especially at the Circa.
Yeah.
Where it's a kind of a sports theme and you're just hanging out by yourself.
Brad's comment: how do you handicap the hooker angle? Georgetown not used to being in Vegas. That's a huge handicap, I think. At a game like
and a
this,
lot of guys, a lot of guys come into Vegas without a hooker budget. Brad comes in; he's got he knows he's got it all locked in.
I would say that I'm definitely on Washington. It's all about just taking the programs we like, Sean.
Yeah, especially in this.
Now, quick side horror story.
Sure.
We want to have. We were hanging out at Legacy Club after the show on Friday.
Yeah,
and I don't think you were a part of this conversation, but there was a civilian there, and he was telling a story about how there was a member of the security team that, as he put it, saved his life. / informed him that the lady he was talking to was probably going to rob him and. Was looking for money and nothing more than that.
Well, again, you got to be like, I don't know if you've caught up with the news, but there are some of these prostitutes now that they're drugging these guys and stealing all their stuff. And I could get keep your head on a swivel if you're out there.
How about this? Be a man and go out into the wild. And maybe, bag your own meat.
Sure, but also it's a town of convenience. It's a town. Everything's open late night. Maybe you want a late night bite to eat. Just be careful out there because there was like a guy at a strip club it sounded like bragging about all this crypto money he had. Next thing you know, the stripper invites him to hang out. Then they got him at gunpoint, transferred all his funds.
You know what you got to get is the bottles of liquor in like South America where they just measure it's got the cap on it where you pour it and it just measures the fucking what a shot is and you have to pour it again. You do that, you're good. You're good. Just bringing some
keep an eye on your drink if you're with a lady of the night. Hey, shout out to Underdog Fantasy. It's a promo code SGPN. Get a nice deposit bonus up to $1,000 in free credits. They do have crown lines. Colby, the crown lines are out. Just God bless you.
I've already jumped into this.
What do you got? What do you got for us here?
All right, this could be Tyson Degenhardt's final game of his career.
Oh, come on.
At Boise State. Give me the higher 17.5 points.
Am I still fading or am I backing now?
It's your call, Ryan.
How are we? Let's see how we've done recently.
I think we're on doing all right. My account's looking pretty flush. Hit a motocross play. Thanks to the Discord. Yeah, good reminder. Get in on the Discord. sportsgameonthepodcast.com/Discord.
Oh, we both lost last one. That's the worst.
Yeah, where we split it. All right, so we got Tyson Degenhardt higher 17.5 points with what else, Colby?
My next one's super sharp. So I just mentioned Washington State's without 3 of their top 5 leading scorers, but they are playing with Ethan Price, who is one of their best players. higher than 1.5 3-pointers made because he's shooting every fucking shot tomorrow.
Oh, I like that.
Love this
angle.
angle.
I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm
let's
tailing.
go.
I like both those players.
Yeah.
UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. The Rhythm's going to get you a shout out to Rhythm, doing a very good job, hooking up people up, getting them paid using their models here. Very easy to get your own data models going. Your AI predictive models for the NBA, college basketball, golf, MLB right around the corner as well. WNBA, they got it all. Very easy to build your own model, and then you get sweet plays off of it. Also, you think, oh, hey, I don't know how to build a model. Very easy. You just adjust the sliders. Next thing you know, Rhythm is building you your own model. They'll back test it, tell you if you have a winning formula or not. Again, get started today. Get the 7-day free trial. UnderdogFantasy.com/RITH. Sorry. Jesus Christ. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/RITHMM. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/RITHMM.
All right. What else do we got? Oh, we got same thing on Tuesday, Sean. Unreal. And again, it is fun how they, after the first round, they're not playing every day, but they're playing every other day. And then they would go into an every day format, which imagine if they tried to do that in the regular tournament. They're going to get some ideas. They're going to do this shit. That's how they're going to expand it and not make it take forever. DePaul, Cincinnati, noon tip. Again, this will not be a big crowd. I don't project either fan base having huge turnout here. Maybe folks from Cincy are using this as an excuse to come out to Vegas and have a good time. Cincy's laying 9.5 here, -500 on the money line, plus 375 for DePaul. 66 is the first half under. What's the play here, Colby? You mentioned that DePaul, even though they suck, they also don't have some players.
Yeah, no, they have a depleted roster, right? Like DePaul does, but I don't care. Like, I mean, they lost one guy who's already transferred to Indiana. They lost a couple others, but Cincinnati's been a fucking underachieving team all year. 9.5.
Oh boy.
No, give me these Blue Demons. Give me these Blue Demons. Chris Holtman's done a great job in year one. Probably they're the most competitive they've been in over 15 fucking years. The culture is buying in there. So yeah, give me that. DePaul plus 9.5 since he wins by 5. Who the fuck is Cincinnati be laying 9.5 points?
Yeah, that is a good counter. And wait, what happened to the DePaul future odds? I feel like when we talked about them on Friday, they were like 100 to 1. Am I crazy or?
Well, maybe some players announced that they were playing.
Well, what's the futures?
110 to 1.
Yeah,
that's what they are right now.
Oh. Wait,
Colby's slide is all over the place.
Oh, okay, all right. Because I was like, it's.
I got mine
I
all
on the slide. They were
spot.
30 to 1.
Yeah, no, the like Sean said, these odds are all over the place.
Okay, I just didn't know if I didn't know if it was an odd discrepancy or if I'd missed some news.
Yeah, the same place I'm looking at has 190 to 1 for Tulane. So
yeah, all right. So some of these are offering crazy odds, some aren't. Cincinnati has a pretty good defense, but it's
a big number.
Kramer, you always fade DePaul. I'm sure you're taking Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't. Colby's getting cute here.
I'm with Colby though.
It's very cute.
I don't know. I'm not going to.
It's a huge number.
I'll take DePaul plus 9.5. How often does Cincy win by more than Cincy win double digits?
Let's see. How many times all year have they won by? They beat Arkansas Pine Bluff, no problem.
Okay.
No, you got to look at Power Fives. You
Nichols. I mean, they beat a lot of teams by UCF.
They beat Xavier,
BYU, Utah,
but not by 10 points.
No, all of these are by 10 or more points.
Really?
Basically, it's funny enough.
They did beat BYU.
They don't have a ton of wins.
But that was at home.
Many of their wins in conference are actually by 10 or more points.
They did beat Oklahoma State on the neutral.
But that's because you're at home.
No, but that was in the Big 12 conference tournament.
They crushed Howard.
I'm with Colby. I'll stick with DePaul here, but I don't love this.
Fucking losers. Oregon 2:30 p.m. tip. Oregon State UCF lane 4.5. -184 on the money line. Oregon State plus 152. 74.5 first half under.
This is the hardest one, and
Really?
well, I told you. Let me just go back to my notes here. UCF is without 8 players. So do you even have reserves? How does this? I mean, they got some walk-ons. I don't know. Like
team manager.
Yeah, maybe.
How are they laying like 4.5 points then?
Well, that's because Oregon State's lost 3 of their top 4 leading scorers. But I tell you what, Wayne Tinkle, he's used to playing in Vegas. Part of the Pac-12 tournament. You know, he had that magical run where they won the Pac-12 tournament a couple years back. He knows where the good whores are in Vegas.
I mean, right? Oregon State, the last game they lost to Pepperdine. I mean, Oregon State's not.
Who
good.
the hell is playing for UCF? I mean,
that's a great counter.
I'm just gonna trust Oregon State.
How deep is a roster typically? College basketball.
I mean,
12 scholarships max.
Oh, you mean I thought you meant minutes. I was gonna say minutes.
No. How many players? Okay. How many players?
I'd say 12 to 14, I guess, depending on the university.
And so you're saying UCF had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So, if you include every player listed in KenPom, they had 13 players.
Keyshawn Hall, their best player, is out. He's not playing. Jalen Sellers. I mean, I don't know. They're gonna have to have some walk-ons, like take minutes, unless they're just gonna play the guys the whole 40.
So you're saying that 7 of those 13 are gone.
8.
So they've
8.
8. So that's 5 players. Like there would only be 5 players remaining listed on KenPom, meaning you got any playing time. So you're to Colby's point that for them to have a bench, they would be playing someone that never played this season. How do you back that?
And they're laying points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does that work?
I don't know.
How many players are Oregon State missing?
3 of their top 4 leading scorers.
Now we calling this 4.5 or 5.5?
I'm seeing 4.5s.
All right.
Yeah. I think it's 4.5 now, but
I'm
taking Oregon State.
I can't take the favorite here because of all the guys they're missing. It's to me, it's just that simple.
But Oregon State's missing guys.
Yeah, but they're the underdog,
and they still have a couple starters playing. Like I kind of trust it a little bit more, and just the fact they go to Vegas every year.
Yeah, I trust, give me Oregon State.
Yeah.
The Beavers have been dropped down the phallic power rankings due to the fact that they just have an animal and not an actual beaver. Not like that minor. Who's our new favorite minor league baseball team that has the baseball glove that looks like, is it an oyster?
Yeah,
it's meant to be an oyster, but it definitely looks like a vagina. And they're making, I mean, the logo is like very in your face about
Chesapeake Bay Sox.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
They used to be the Bowie Bay Sox. I've been to a game.
How did they not?
Yeah.
Was their logo always this?
Show me the logo again.
Wait, you've not seen this?
I haven't seen the newest one. But I went to a game about 25 years ago. Bowie Bay Sox. I've been to
I got it.
Talk about the Frederick Keys. I remember watching them. Yeah.
The logo is very. I mean,
yeah, give me a second. I'll add this thing in here. I accidentally went to some minor league website that's crashing my computer.
Oh, and as the Bretzer's pointing out, oysters, they'll put a little lead in your pencil there if you need that kind of.
But I mean, Colby, you've surely seen this, right?
Yeah, they didn't have that shit.
I do love how
that's
I don't know where you got that from, Ryan, but the baseball is like blurry.
Oh, interesting.
It's almost like it's like a graphic image. And Cannabis Capper saying the channel may get flagged for this logo. I mean, that is clearly a vagina.
Don't show. Did you not let no one looked at this first?
Well, if you're doing minor league graphic design, you might not be a guy who gets a ton of play.
Well, look at the detail you put in that oyster.
Or maybe he's super horny, doesn't see the daylight a lot, and just thought he'd have some fun with us.
I think
the only thing on my mind, Gene, was pussy.
Shout out to Robin Quivers. All right, I'm on Oregon State. for a 5:30 p.m. Tuesday. Again, this is the first round of the Crown. Colorado taking on Villanova. Another matchup where the point spread is confusing to me. This is probably the second lock, just like Butler. Nova laying 2.5 minus 152 on the money line. 126 for Colorado. 141.5 is the total. 66 first half under. Colby, what am I missing here?
I will say this: the Buffs are playing a lot better. Go back to that Big 12 tournament. They played really good then. They basically lost their whole team a year ago, and they kind of brought in a couple D2 guys and some freshmen.
Yeah,
towards the back after that season. But I'm with you. I believe in, like, especially in a tournament like this, Villanova, even though, you know, it didn't work out with Kyle Neptune, I do believe their culture matters. I believe winning matters. I think Mike Nardi will not phone this fucking thing in. Give me Nova. I'm locking this up as well. Minus 2.5.
I'm with you. I mean, Villanova, to me, Dixon is playing, and as you pointed out, going for that scoring record. He's going to be incredibly motivated to get this. So yeah, I think Villanova, I mean, they've had some nice games. They played some good basketball. I think this
why is
way
it only
too short?
2.5? Because the coach, right? People are just,
yeah, I guess the coaching situation is obviously the weird part of it, or the weird part of the handicap. But yeah, I'll take Villanova all day.
Where did Colby go?
It's a great question.
Colby just left.
Oh, okay. No, you know,
does he have something better to do?
I have no idea. I mean,
it wouldn't be the first time Colby just slid out the back.
Well, again, his I'm sure he's got some. I don't know. Maybe his chums over at the country club. You know, late night they just hit him up. Hey, we're gonna put down some Manhattans.
You think that's what it is? He had to run over to the 19th hole.
Yeah, the guy's done polishing his clubs. I'm locking up Villanova. Kramer, what are you doing?
Yeah. I assume Colby was also on Villanova. This one stinks though. It does. I mean, it's hard to use Ken Pom, especially when you have players missing from both teams. This is probably one of the better examples of this. But even there, I think Ken Pom has this at 4 when I was looking earlier. 3 now. So Ken Pom clearly in there doing some tweaks. He was getting roasted on the internet. And first half under 66. I just locked in all the first half unders for the people that are going to be throwing shade at my first half under tracker for the Crown.
That will be great.
All right. I think we have Mr. Picked on D back. Let's see. Yeah. Colby's back.
What happened, guys?
Colby, what happened?
I don't know. You guys zapped me out of the fucking internet. Something's up. All right.
Oh boy.
Technologies are hard.
Accountability, Dan.
Did you hear my lock of Villanova, or did you guys miss that?
Yes, we're all on Villanova.
Convenient.
Wow. I was just realizing how many plays the Discord's going to have. Tulane, USC nightcap, 8 p.m. on the West Coast. As Colby mentioned, the coach was leaving and then he was staying. I did see that our bobblehead of Ron Hunter was in the shop, finally being repaired by my lazy kid who's been sitting on it for months.
Yeah, what's going on over there, Ryan?
Don't
kind of operation you're running.
Teenagers are the worst. USC laying 9.5 minus 350 on the money line. 275 for Tulane. 154.5 is the total. 73.5 first half under. So Colby, this is interesting though with the coach back. Who's lost more players here? I assume it's Tulane.
Nah, I mean, well, they have Cam Williams going to the NBA draft. He's trying out for that or trying to get there, and then Caleb Banks is out. But
so he's not playing.
Yeah, so they lost 2 key guys, but USC lost 2 reserves as well. But Ron Hunter, now that he's back, Battlefield Earth going on here, and I'll take Tulane to stay within 9.5. Like USC is going to win the game, but they're still young and stupid, and just Musselman. I took a future on them just because I think that they could be coming into form and just getting everyone to buy in with money behind it. But I still think this number's a little large. Like USC has not been destroying teams of Tulane's caliber at all this year. I mean, so. Give me the 9.5. They beat him in the Cotton Bowl a couple years ago. Wouldn't surprise me if they could stay within this number.
I'm with the chat here. I'm taking USC laying the 9.5. You want to talk about kids familiar with the Vegas experience, not getting distracted, and you look some of the teams in the 130s which Ken Palm has Tulane at. USC has done a good job of taking care of them. Now you look at their back half of the schedule. They played a ton of good teams, obviously in conference play there in the Big Ten. I think this might be a get right spot for them a little bit. Now I think they get distracted and lose their way against Villanova, but I'll take them here in a smash spot.
Am I wrong to think that USC aren't they don't they have a number of seniors? Like they're the more experienced team than Tulane.
With the guys out, I think you're probably right, but
okay,
they're not experienced with Eric Musselman. Yeah,
but he's not going to embarrass himself here.
No, they can.
And you highlighted it in your future handicap. There's money on the line.
Yeah, I don't think USC should be a double-digit favorite against any team that's good. I mean, Tulane played Memphis
9.5
very well.
Double digits.
They got to win by double digits to cover it.
Here we go.
And I mean, this is a team that lost to Cal. You know what I mean? So,
Brett's pointing out Colby forgot to let us know that Juju's out for USC.
Oh yeah. Good point.
How about the fact also that they lost by?
Colby doesn't even get my women's basketball.
Yeah, Juju Watkins is out.
He's not watching.
Yeah,
he's not watching women's basketball.
What's going on? No, I know that's going on, but it's just
there's Division 2,
there's
men.
Frozen 4, there's D2 shit. Cal State Dominguez, dude, they're fucking ballers. Yeah, all over Tulane plus 9.5. USC wins by 4.
All right, Kramer, time for a couple locks and a dog. What do you got going here for the crown?
I liked how you were listening to me throughout the show, and you just Butler and Villanova. Those are the obvious locks.
Those were my locks, but I'm agreeing with
we're
you.
only giving out 2.
All right, let's do a third lock. I'm with you, Colby.
There we go.
Kramer only put 2 locks in the sheet. He's probably not as confident as a crown handicapper. Kramer, what's your third lock?
Excuse you.
Excuse you.
Let's go. Do I want to take no? It would be better if I took big chalk. Give me SC Musselman. Big blowout win.
What do you got for a money line dog?
Colby said no, and I say yes. Arizona State. Fuck it. No, actually, cross that off. Oregon State. UCF does not have enough players to play. Per Colby. Per reporting.
We should do that as an old Pac-10 parlay. Oregon State, Arizona State. Shit, throw Washington State in there too.
Little round robin. I'm going ASU plus 5.5 for my first lock. We got
hold on. Quick update. Cross off USC. Boise State laying 8.5 is my first lock.
Ooh.
Cross off USC. Yeah. Boise State.
Yeah. So Boise State, Butler, Villanova locks. Oregon State money line.
Okay, for me, lock up ASU plus 5.5. Forks up. Give me Butler laying the 1.5, and give me Villanova laying the 2.5. Wazoo on the money line for my dog. Colby, what do you got?
We're locking up Butler minus 1.5. We're locking up Nova minus 2.5. We are also going to lock up Oregon State plus 4.5. The money line dog is Arizona State. Let's go. But I like this parlay of Arizona State, Oregon State. And if we want to do a round robin, we can add Wazoo there, but Arizona State, Oregon State. Kramer, I know you're on my side here. Let's go.
So Colby parlay is, Oregon State and, Arizona State.
Yeah.
I'm going to give out just, Washington State and Arizona State. I'm a little nervous about Oregon State. I like it, but not as much as the other two. So
Butler, Villanova, Oregon State parlay.
All right. Kramer's got a parlay of Butler laying the points. I assume. I know you're a big money line.
Butler. Oh, it's a great update. Butler, Villanova, and Oregon State money line parlay.
Okay,
Thank you.
I know you're a money line,
and I will be posting this to social, but I did finish filling out my bracket.
Yeah, good reason to follow us on X at Gambling Podcast, at Kramer Centric, at Sean T Green, at the Colby D. Come hop in the Discord. We're almost up to 10,000 people in the Discord.
Really?
It's completely free. Unlike all these like loser ass touts who charge you for picks, charge you for losing picks. Instead, you can enjoy our Discord for free. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. And what do we got coming up this week, Ryan?
Well, tomorrow, Sean, they put out those pesky win totals in the NFL. So we're gonna do a
way too early NFL win total.
This is even the way too early is not till May, Sean. That's when we have schedules and everything. This is the first look.
Okay.
And we will we're still gonna rapid fire pick everyone. So and then Wednesday, Colby will be back for more crown picks. We'll be picking the second round. And then, or that's Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Final Four. Thursday, a lot of Colby this week.
Yeah.
Thursday, UFL.
Pick Dundee.
Friday,
Benedict Dant.
So you guys want your numbers up? I see, huh?
Yeah, come on.
From and for those who have asked, and we'll start posting the link, but the Friday VSiN show is available in podcast form.
Okay. So if you're looking to check that out.
Yeah, people often ask like for Colby's picks, you can actually go and hour by hour they break it up and you can listen to it. So
and if you're watching The Crown, tweet at us at Gambling Podcast, tag Circus Sports, be like, hey, I'm listening, I'm watching The Crown because I got some picks over at Gambling Podcast. Yeah, tag us, tag Circa. It'll make us look good.
Basically, Friday, the VSiN show is where you will get our Crown Final Four picks.
Why don't we send out a little T-shirt to anyone that tags?
Ooh, yeah, that's a good idea. If you we'll pick, we'll give out a $100 gift card to the best tag of The Crown and us on social there at Gambling Podcast, tag Circa, and we'll pick some of our favorites. We'll give out a bunch of merch, but $100 to the best
early favorite.
Yeah.
Is if Weehawk posts anything with a fire in his backyard, it's going to be hard to beat that.
Weehawk is his 401k now is probably just he's not only does he rack up a bunch of free gear because he's awesome, but he also in the Patreon he is cleaning I think if we did a money leaderboard, I think it's Weehawk. He's what I have like 4 futures of his I'm sitting on because he keeps winning these Patreon pick'ems.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's on a heater.
Well, also
knows his stuff.
Also, remember if you see anyone playing football out in the streets or in any parks, we're running this great campaign to play football again. Make sure you tag us at Gambling Podcast or all of us individually. Yes, play football.
Colby will like this, but I didn't publish it on social media because I'm not going to just take pictures of random people's kids and post them on social. But I was at a youth soccer event and a little kid was there with a football and he had he had no one to pass it with, and so I just started playing catch. And you would have thought I was Jesus reincarnated the way people were thanking me. Oh, that's so nice of you. I'm like
some of the soccer players on the shoulder said, hey, you see what he's doing over there? Go do that. Don't be a pussy.
Yeah. Right? You guys want to play some real football?
Well, what everyone didn't realize is I also didn't want to socialize with the parents. So I was having a good time hanging out with the 8-year-olds.
Win. Of course, subscribe to the College Experience and subscribe to the Sports Gambling Podcast. If you haven't already, toss us a nice 5-star rating and review. Toss us a 5-star on Spotify. Appreciate everyone. And as always,
thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green. He's Ryan.
And one more shout out to Mr. Robert Martin in the chat. No one needs you to have a tramp stamp, sir.
Kramer, let it ride.